Pretty intense. On the other side of the ball, and you have Ray Lewis coming at you. Probably one of the best to do it in his position.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And,
But
yeah.
we're rolling.
All
So-
right.
We officially rolling.
Yeah.
Salutations, friends, family.
Yes.
We are back.
Salutations.
We got Harmeyer. We got Spilly. How you guys been?
What is up?
What's up, y'all?
This is the lucky number 7 episode.
Yes, this is
Oh.
lucky number 7. But before we get into it, and because it is lucky number 7,
Mm-hmm.
I made a point last episode to do this, and I want to do it at the beginning of like each episode.
Okay.
Smack that fucking subscribe button on YouTube, that follow button on Spotify or Apple Music, whatever it is.
Yes.
If you're on YouTube, also hit the notifications bells, because about a year or two ago, the subscriptions on YouTube, like, they don't show up in your subscription box anymore.
Yeah.
So do that.
That's right.
Follow us all on social media, and follow the Your House Our Rule. Your House Our Rules on Twitter and Facebook. All my Twitter handles and all my handles are at the Spillmeister. So they're also, whenever we share the video on Facebook or Twitter, or on Facebook at least, all our social medias are linked to it. So you just click that read more, and you should be able to find us all. But if you guys want to tag your shit, go ahead.
I mean, yeah, Twitter, no harm, no foul. That's really the only one that I pay attention much to. But yeah, all of our social media shit, show us love for sure if you like this. And it's always good for feedback if you want to follow us on any of those avenues and be like, hey, love the last episode for this reason, hated the last episode for this reason. We are all appreciative of literally any feedback we get. So yeah. Keep that up if you can.
And
And
since the last couple episodes, we asked you guys to do it. We do appreciate it. There's been some people commenting, and we take what you guys say and what you guys comment, and we read it, and we go over it, and we're not just having you guys comment. We are reading them.
Right.
We appreciate you guys doing that for us. It makes us better.
Yeah, we try to respond to everything that happens on those social media too. I don't know if we missed some stuff, just because I know, like, sometimes I'll click the notifications on the Facebook page and I just can't see them, and I don't know if that's because there's something wrong, or like you had already clicked on them or something like that.
Yeah,
So okay, so it is.
I don't,
okay.
Well, I don't know, but that
It could be.
definitely be.
Okay. But yeah, and with that being said too, we appreciate the feedback, but a lot of the feedback that we're getting is kind of just like people texting us and stuff too. The more you engage with the social media and the YouTubes and stuff like that, the more like we will be able to boost our videos and stuff. So try to keep them in the comment section, because all of us three here are pretty open to constructive criticism. So if you got something to say, even if it's just some straight up like, this dude fucking sucks, like,
Let it run it.
Yes.
Give it to us.
Of course. Well, we have some big news as we get right into this
Just
thing.
happened.
Literally like 20 minutes before we started recording here, Governor of Ohio Mike DeWine announced a official stay-home order unless it is a complete necessity to go out of the house. So that kind of changes. I mean, we were in a please stay home if you can type of situation, and now it's kind of gotten to one last
Stay at
plea
home.
before probably a full lockdown or anything crazy like that would happen. So this is probably the time where we do just need to stay away from other people.
Yeah.
If
I'm
at
sorry,
all
And
possible.
this is so fresh that like the conference is happening right now, so
Right.
we really haven't had time to actually see what it's about. But
You know when I thought that the lockdown was going to happen? What was it, on Wednesday or Thursday? There was a tornado watch.
Oh yeah,
And we were
yeah.
supposed to be in, and I heard the sirens go off. I was like,
Dude,
it's done.
dude,
It's over.
wasn't
Here
it
they
crazy?
come.
It was like a purge. Get indoors.
we know that the tornado sirens are just for like if there might be tornadoes in the area, but something about that specific one was way more eerie, man.
I've heard them. Yeah, I've heard them all my life.
I got up,
But it was
opened
never
door.
during a pandemic.
Yeah.
So, you know.
Yeah, it did. It had like extra legs because this is pandemic time.
did.
Everything is different. It's like, okay, what is happening right now?
Yeah, dude, I opened up the window and was like checking to see if the wind was just getting up there. I was like, the last thing we need is like.
But I'm sorry, I just had to get that out because I was gonna forget it.
Oh
It's
no,
just-
I
yes.
1000% agree with
To-
that
to-
because I was like, it was like you said, it was doubly eerie.
Yeah, it was
than,
like the
a
middle of the
normal
night. too. It was like,
tornado.
oh,
Yeah.
shit.
Yeah, it was real late at night.
It was,
super
yeah. It was
still
like
out.
9
Yeah.
at night, 9:30, somewhere in that range.
But
But yeah, that would have been tough. I mean, right in the middle of a pandemic, just getting massacred by a tornado. It missed us. We're good, but
yeah,
very,
I don't think there
very,
even
very-
were any. The tornado sirens just come on if like the weather is looking like it might.
right. It was a warning, but yeah. Either way, not
Sorry,
super
guys.
important.
Yeah, back to the
but-
serious stuff.
Yeah,
I'm sorry,
so
but-
coronavirus. Yeah, like he said, we're still in the middle of the press conference going on right now. I'm assuming, or just
Yes.
got done.
It is
Maybe.
still going. I think. Yeah.
But yeah, so all of the facts are going to be coming out here soon in the next couple of hours. So yeah, I mean, it's kind of just a further like please stay home type of thing for any of us.
I'm assuming what it's going to be is pretty much like, unless you're like a doctor or someone who like really needs to be at work to help with the coronavirus itself, they're probably just shutting it down, because California's been on it like all week. Like California is completely shut down.
And shout out to all the essential personnel that still have to work, or we appreciate you guys, and stay safe as much as you can.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, I mean, it is weird because it's like they do these kind of orders, but we have locations for my work in California. Those people are considered essential, even though they're not like healthcare or stuff like that.
Yeah, I don't think
it's weird what they mark essential versus non-essential. So I think a lot of people will still go to work.
Correct.
But it really, I guess, it's just dependent upon the job to job kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know. I texted my boss and I was like, hey, I'll be in tomorrow, whether or not we're actually supposed to work or not. So, hey, man, get your bread if you can. But, like, what do y'all think about the actual lockdown itself? Do you guys think this is, like, largely an overreaction, or do you think you don't think it is?
No, I don't think it's an overreaction, and I don't necessarily want to say take it serious, because you can do whatever you want to do. Nobody can tell you what to do. If you care about you and your family, you will abide by the rules that can that can make that happen. Everybody can do whatever they want, but if your family is going to be affected, I suggest that you just take the steps necessary to do so. I will take the steps necessary to do so. But I went to the park earlier, and there's kids in the fucking pit. There's kids playing softball and shit like that. And it was just old people and children. What I think are like the two
that are most
susceptible.
Yeah. And I was like, what the fuck is going on? You know? And they said, I think, I'm not necessarily sure. We'll probably have to fact check this later on. Mike DeWine said that you guys, we should go to the parks, you know, and shit like that. I think what he means is walk in the parks, go on trails, do that, not necessarily have basketball teams and softball teams and playing tag and shit like that.
I actually did see something earlier this week that, like, the national park system and stuff, they're actually making free entry into their national parks during the lockdown, so people can go out and get in nature and still be quarantined but not stuck inside their house.
Right. Correct. Yeah.
That's nice.
But how you feel about it, Harmar? You think it's kind of an overreaction?
Yeah. Well, no, I don't think it's an overreaction at this point. I definitely was on the train earlier, but once major things started shutting down, like all of the sports leagues, all of major businesses changing the way they do things, that was kind of when it became like, okay, we're actually living in like a real, like, holy, like this is a big deal type of pandemic. Where originally I was kind of on the fence of either, is this like a media blow up?
No, and I mean,
or is this real? And now, as things get further and further, it's like, okay, this is real. So now we actually do.
And we have to understand how many scares we've been through since we were children. You know what I mean?
Right.
There was anthrax, and there was flu, and there was this flu, and then there's mad cow, and like all these types of things, and Ebola a few years ago. And so there's all of these things that become, you know, like super huge that never affect us. And this is one that we probably took a little bit too lightly, including our president, that was it is something that you're supposed to take seriously.
He was told by many doctors that he could be doing something about this before it got here and be taking extra measures, and he decided
to be honest. I read an article in the Washington Post, and it wasn't necessarily doctors. There was intelligence agencies. It doesn't tell you exactly which ones, but we're just going to assume like CIA, because, you know, they're out there in a foreign country getting knowledge. I don't know. That's an assumption of mine. Don't quote me. I ain't say shit. But, the agencies told him in January that there was a pandemic, and it said ominous features of a certain virus in China. They didn't, of course, it said that it could have been bad, but they didn't know when it was going to get to the United States. So I think it was kind of like, oh, well, it's never going to get to the United States. And it didn't have steps to prevent it. But the knowledge was there, and it was taken lightly. Yeah. I understand you're the president. Whoever the president is at that point in time when a pandemic is going to happen is going to be the guy to blame. He do whatever he does. I hate to say it, but when you're the boss, it's your fault. We know this, especially if you've worked.
It's his job to get everyone else to follow.
It doesn't matter if you work in the government or not, or if you work in the government, you understand if you're running shit and shit goes wrong when you're running it, it's your fault. Hate to say it, but sorry, guy.
Yeah.
And it's just the truth. And we all have to understand that if you're in charge, it ultimately falls on you to take care of the people underneath you.
I have a buddy who actually got involved on my little social media post the other day, but he actually works for, he's a biomed major or graduated. I'm not sure which one, but he works for something that makes test kits for like figuring out what type of virus you have and stuff like that. So he actually messaged me and gave me the whole thing. He actually said that he might come on the podcast, so I don't want to give too much. Nice. If he does, I really hope he does. That would be like really good because I can't explain it as well as he did. But he said that working there, he knows like there were steps that we've been hearing about this coronavirus, and like his job wasn't doing anything about it because they didn't have the go ahead to get this out. So yeah, I mean we've known about this shit since December. And I remember in February, my parents going to Mexico, and like when they were coming home, I had to pick them up from the airport. And they were like, we'll tell you when we're getting our luggage and stuff like that. We have to go through customs. And I was like, okay. She said, you should leave now. And I was like, well, you might want to wait because I don't know how long it's going to be because with this coronavirus thing is going around. This was like early February, and they had absolutely nothing in place at CVG to prevent the coronavirus. True. They said that they were screening people. My mom sent me a screenshot of that from their webpage and shit. But like we just said, the tests weren't even fucking there. And we know that now. So...
And guys that are listening or people that are viewing this, don't take this as us bitching about it, but it is our duty.
I think Trump's doing a very good job now that he's.
It's our duty as citizens to bring these things alight and make sure that people hear it. It's not because we're trying to be different or to be leftist or rightist or anything like that. Yeah, there's a lot supposed to happen, and we're supposed to let people know so that they can create.
Yeah. And there's a lot of misinformation going on around the coronavirus, and I've done a really good job of the stuff that I need to know. I'm getting from the scientific community websites that are backed by the CDC and the World Health Organization and stuff like that. Because right now, if you're trusting just about any press, it can be skewed to one side, and they're media outlets, so they're trying to get the big story as it comes, whether or not it's true.
That's gonna be. I mean, that's gonna be the difficult part of going through the pandemic, because even if it's just a media thing, it turns into a political thing, and then at the end, at the end, at the bottom of the list, it's a virus thing or people are dying. It's always media sucks, politicians are pieces of shit, and then the virus.
Right.
You know what I mean? We should take precedence of taking care of ourselves, then we can
whine to each other about the other things. I agree. The pandemic should be priority one of us being like, God damn it.
We can go back to hating Trump and Hillary fucking afterward. Let's unify and stay alive, guys. Unify, stay alive.
There we
go. And stay alive.
There we go.
Speaking of hating on politicians and stuff like that, man, fucking some people out there will like defend these dudes to the teeth just because of who they are.
That's true.
Just because who they are. Like I was talking about before with that Facebook post. I made a post about Trump specifically handling the coronavirus situation because it came out this week, that meme that was like, if you don't support Trump, then you better not accept that check. And like, who are the fuck are you to say who can accept money from our government? We are a government built on electing officials to represent us. And like everyone just jumps on, and no one has anything to say about the point at hand. They're just pissed that I put down Trump about it. And Bernie people do the same shit too. But.
Oh yeah, for sure. And so, I think the other thing that a lot of people don't really want to talk about it. They want to say things.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
They don't want to have a conversation to reach a median goal or like an average understanding of what it is.
And there were a couple people, I should mention this, there were a couple people on there that were legitimately trying to give information back.
Yeah, of course. I'm not saying that everybody does it, but it's a grand majority. We all know it. Because, I mean, I have a tendency to fucking do that too. Yeah. But, some people just need to relax, you know, because the government is ours, not yours, not mine. So if money's going to be given out, which I think is a bad idea, especially because if you don't like socialism and you don't like communism, giving out money is a problem. If you don't like it to be redistribution of wealth is pretty much what that is, right?
Yeah.
So if you don't like that, and that's completely totally fine, that's fine. But use your principles correctly. Yeah. You don't get to say, I want this, but if there's money, I want that. And then you don't get to say, I hate Trump. And so it goes both ways, you know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
You're a commie or you're a Republican, you know?
Right.
Yeah. I don't like to put down people on their views or anything
No,
like that.
not at
But
all.
if you seriously think that because you didn't vote for Trump that you should not get the
That's
stimulus
why.
packages, you're a fucking idiot.
It's the federal
You're a
government. It's
fucking
everybody.
idiot. If you
Have they
truly
actually-
believe that, and I'm not saying everyone even on the post believe that, but if you truly believe that, you're a fucking idiot and you don't understand shit about politics.
No, and yeah, there are definitely people out there. Yeah, not saying specifically on your post, but there's definitely people out there on the far Trump train this time around. Last time around, it would have been the Obama train.
train,
Whatever,
yeah.
yeah. But yeah, there are definitely people out there being like, oh, well, if you don't like the president I voted for, then you don't get any of the benefits, like even though we're all living in the same country.
And to do it at this time.
Yeah, I mean, like the worst of worst times to be like, pandemic, you don't get any help because it's like, Jesus.
Well, and you think it's not really going to be help because I'm not necessarily sure with the numbers, but I think it was going to be like upwards of $200 billion, and then it was going to be like $1 trillion fucking thing, and then the numbers keep on going up. The Federal Reserve is going to print money. The money has no fucking value.
Well, are we doing this? And I know
I
think
they finally said it was going to
did they actually like finalize it?
$1,200 in 2 weeks.
I think it was $1,200 a week.
My only question is, how is this going to happen? Are you gonna? Do you have to apply online? Is it going to be? Were you registered from the IRS? If you're not registered from the IRS, is it going to be cash? If you don't have a bank, how many millions of people are gonna not have this money?
Well, is it?
Is there like a certain income cutoff?
Yeah,
Is there?
I mean, there is going to be. I think for four family of four is like $3,000.
Is this decided on?
Okay.
Has it been fully put into effect? Because when I made
it hasn't been fully put into effect, but the last thing that was supposed to be put into effect was that. Now it can be now, but I don't have that information.
Yeah, and I don't know anything about it. That's why I was asking.
But yes, the money is supposed to. I just don't understand how it's going to get to the people, how it's going to be checked. Because remember when the huge crisis in Greece happened?
Yeah.
And there wasn't enough money to go around. All the banks were lined out. Hundreds of people going to bank. People going to ATMs. ATMs had $20 in them. Nobody could, because even if they had the money
has no value.
There is nowhere to get it from, and it could turn into that if everybody gets a check and everybody goes to fucking go change. Like what?
Yeah.
We've been to the bank on a Friday. What it looks like.
Yeah.
What the fuck do you think it's gonna look like now?
Dude, it's like first of the month on a Friday times like 1,000.
Exactly. I mean, it's gonna be some. It's gonna be some crazy shit.
And that's the biggest thing. Before we were talking about whether or not we think it's an overreaction or not. I think the coronavirus itself is an overreaction. Kind of. I see both points. But what it's going to do to our economy if they actually lock shit down and they do it for too long, it's going to destroy the infrastructure of America. Like this is how the recessions and depressions happen. And especially when I've been seeing shit all week about like them putting a couple $1 trillion or more. Like they did 1.5 trillion into stock and then they're adding another $1 trillion. When you start doing that, it just deflates the fucking value of money.
But the problem, usually your depressions happen because a whole bunch of rich motherfuckers on Wall Street know that they're going to fuck you over, but they're going to make some fucking money. This is going to be a different type of depression where it's because people can't make the money.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah, but and that's one of the things that I want to talk about from the New York Times, because I've always wondered, like, temp agencies, do they fucking help people, or is it a scapegoat to not hire somebody, not have to pay their insurance and their medical bills, and then at the 30 to 60 day mark, be able to fire them and hire a new one for a lower wage? Because that's what a temp agency is.
Yeah, it is. I work with a lot of temps at work. So everyone starts at a temp agency.
So what happens to the people that are a temp agency now that they can't work? And of course they haven't had insurance, but at least they were making money, right?
Right.
So now what happens? Do they get cut and then they just hire another batch?
Probably.
What happens?
That's what we do.
I mean, that's what they do, but that's during a regular time, right? Yeah. Where they can go get another job. But at this point in time, you're just cutting everybody, and then these guys with the temp agencies, mind you, they're only going to make like $10.25 a fucking hour,
right.
And now they're not going to have a job, and they're sure as fuck not going to have fucking medical insurance, because you think if they're not paying for it, the place you work for is not going to pay for it. What makes you think that now that you have the coronavirus, per se, somebody's going to take you up for something you can afford for insurance?
I don't know. There's a lot of questions.
There's a lot of questions.
I would hope that because and I know that's why it's such a scary time. That's why it scares the shit out of me for questions like that, because they do use these people and like that. Answer your question before, I definitely think that's the way temp agencies are. That's the way they are. I see it every day.
Built for that.
I see it every day. Yeah, but I would hope that because we have this pandemic going on and like they'd help people out a little bit more, but. I don't know, man.
Well, when you create a business solely based on exploitation, when you can't exploit, your business will not exist. So that's the problem.
But maybe it could thrive in this world that we're starting to move into.
Dude, it is thriving. The problem is that the people aren't. The business is.
Well,
right. They still don't care about the people, but they're going to be getting a lot more people applying to get into the business just to cut them off after 60 anyways.
Ultimately, it's a political thing because they say, oh, the unemployment rate. Unemployment rate and all that shit is only based on who has a job, not how much they make, not how much they can afford or anything like that.
At the same time, too, temp agencies usually have some sort of thing where, like, if you sign on at a temp agency and you get sent back from your job, they will find you another job.
Yes, but but you won't have the insurance. And you'll still be making the $9.75 to $10.25. I'm saying that's the problem because if you're not getting hired, you have to go back to the temp agency, and they're going to exploit you even more. And then they fire you over there because then if they pick you up for too long, they're going to have to pay for your bills. Then they send you back, and then they're going to exploit you even more. It's a vicious fucking circle.
They keep you long enough to where they might have to pay you more, and then they cut off.
And the thing is,
and then you can never stabilize yourself if you're just jumping temp agency to temp agency. Yeah, you'll never have the ability to actually
get ahead.
Yeah,
and people do this for 30, 40 years.
Insane.
It's true,
dude. You should see some of the people that come into my work, because everyone's hiring,
and a lot of them don't have a choice
through a temp agency. And at the end of your 400 hours or whatever, they decide if they'll actually hire you on at my job specifically. But there's so many people that come in. I'd say 75% of the people who come in don't even make it through their 400 hours before they're sent back to the temp.
So you see firsthand exactly what I mean. Yeah, they recycle them through.
They just recycle people.
And that's the thing. It's ultimately political because the unemployment and employment rates is what people go, oh, there's unemployment rate. Oh, this president does better. But when you start putting money into temp agencies, of course your unemployment is going to go down. It doesn't mean that the people are living any better, though. You know what I mean?
Right.
Now you're employed, but now you're being exploited.
Yeah, your number looks better, is that number meaningful? No.
Yeah. I just want to say, I guess.
No, that is a good point.
It was a good question.
Because right now, that's going to be the biggest exploit.
Problem.
Right. Yeah. And it's a problem that nobody really, on an average basis thinks about. So, yeah, it's definitely a good topic.
It's true. But, I mean, I've never worked for a temp agency, but I worked where he was working, and I worked in a couple other places, and a lot of people, usually shops, mom and pop shops, or smaller businesses, it's just a
endless cycle.
It's just an endless cycle of push them in and get them out.
But the one thing that I will say about it is at least for now we are getting people who are unemployed because of the pandemic, jobs and stuff like that. And I haven't seen anything through the temp agencies, but I know over Facebook and Twitter, whatever social media you're on, most of the big corporations and shit, they're just advertising jobs right now. Like I saw one for Amazon, or I've seen a couple for Amazon and Target, and they're hiring immediately, will be hired in 2 days, we need employees type shit.
Well, yeah, but again, that comes back to the exploitation fucking thing.
I know, but the point I'm making is that at least we're helping people get jobs who are unemployed and won't be able to feed their families.
I know.
It's exploiting and it's going to be bad, and we're going to see where it's going to happen, but at least we're kind of offering some support for people.
But that's the ultimate. That's the ultimate exploitation. I'm giving you something that you need, just not enough so that you can succeed. That's the ultimate way to control somebody.
It definitely is.
But
at the
you
same
can't
time,
leave me because you need me.
Yeah.
Right.
But I'm going to use you every which way.
It is.
It's sad.
It's sad.
But
we're in a time where
it is what it is.
It
shouldn't be, and we can work together, but we all got to give a fuck.
Well, right. And if you're in that situation, even if you know it's kind of exploitation, you have to take it if that's your only option. So it's it is a vicious cycle. It's right. Coronavirus fucking everything up. I mean, it's changing a lot of things. I don't know what's going to happen now with like we said, the Ohio thing, stay home clause or whatever.
I mean,
with jobs, who knows what's actually going to happen? Of how many offices and infrastructures are going to be shut down because of it? I'm not sure.
It sucks that this is a point in time where like our government really cannot work for us, because someone like me, I'm not at high risk for the coronavirus. I can go to work. I work outside of 6 feet of people. I'm probably not going to get it or spread it around that easily or stuff like that. But it's the government that's making the decisions. So if they decide to shut my place down and I'm out of work, like I could still go to work, but it's just a tricky situation, especially because there's at-risk people and there's not at-risk people. We're not at risk, but like I'm specifically avoiding my parents right now simply because I don't want to get the coronavirus out.
Right.
And there are people who are completely immune. Vectors, I think they're called. They're completely immune to a virus, and they just spread it.
They're carriers too.
So this is a crazy thing, and that's why it's also the pandemic that we're going through is kind of scary too, because this is such an infectious disease. You brought up like Ebola and anthrax before and stuff like this. This is something that we have in our system for 6 days, and we're not even showing symptoms, and the whole time we can spread that around to people.
Yeah.
So a lot of older people and at-risk people can die from this, and that's why we just kind of everyone has to follow suit so we can protect a certain specific people. It's crazy times out here, guys.
And it's so crazy. I keep thinking about in like 30 years down the line, they're going to be talking about this in like history books, and you'll be like, I remember that time. Dude. Like, it's just going to be weird. I'm thinking of a time where like I see it time far in the future, and I'm like, man, that was crazy back there.
This is an unprecedented global situation we're on. This is up there with like fucking Chernobyl, and I don't think the virus is necessarily as deadly as other pandemics we've had, like the Spanish flu. But like the fact that the entire world is just shutting the fuck down right now. It's crazy. We've never seen anything like this.
Right.
Yeah.
No, it is insane to think about. We're living in a time where it's like, this is like a famous time period down the line. This will be like a thing. This, however many months this ends up lasting, 6 months, 8 months, whatever.
Fucking year. Dude,
yeah, I mean, who knows at this point? That's the worst part is like every morning you'll see like something new, like,
wake up,
in a month we should be seeing changes. And then the next report will be like, hopefully in 5 months.
Yeah,
you just have no idea what's happening.
That's the thing. There's a lot of places that are like trying to give accurate timelines of when a vaccine will be ready for this. And the dude, you watched the infectious disease guy on Joe Rogan. He said, here's the thing. I have a vaccine for the coronavirus right now. He's like, I just don't know if it's safe to give to humans. And that's the big thing about the vaccines and stuff. They're just shooting a weakened strain or dead strain of the virus so your body can make antibodies. But if you shoot the wrong weakened or if you shoot a weakened strain in that isn't weakened enough, all of a sudden now you have coronavirus.
Right, and they're just shooting you. Yeah, and he was talking about, and there's another interview he did with a different podcast that I listened to, pardon my take, and he said that it's usually, the FDA is usually like an 18-month process of getting the vaccines, and he's like, we're obviously
of course it'll be
doing it way faster, right? Expedited 10 times over.
He said 6 months or more, a year more on Joe Rogan.
Right.
Was his vaccine.
Yeah, and he's like, and that's still like a ballpark, and it is absurd. But obviously
And the ballpark to get it doesn't mean it's going to work.
Yeah.
It could be another ballpark to.
You could wait that entire
that
9
strain.
months, and then it's like, nope, turns out this is deadly.
And the thing about it is too that a couple people have talked to me. This disease actually infects the RNA of your cells and stuff. So you have RNA and DNA. And
nucleic acid. Look at you.
I've done my reading. I've done my research on the coronavirus, dude. But the thing is, apparently, I can't remember exactly what they said, and I wish they did. But I had two people, both the dude who I was talking before that does test kit, and then Teresa Taylor. Shout out Teresa, grew up on the same street as me. She said the same thing. She said the thing that scares them the most about this, the medical field, is they said that the coronavirus has just completely switched its patterns and mutated twice since we've fucking known about it since December. So like, and that's the thing about going back to the vaccines and stuff too. If it mutates, the vaccine doesn't work anymore.
Right.
So, and there's always that fucking little scary part. Like this thing, it's not airborne right now, but with every infectious disease that comes around, there's always that like it could go airborne. It could go airborne. So it's a possibility. I don't think it's necessarily likely, but
it's always in the back of your mind.
If it's mutated twice in the past 4 months, you never
have
know.
No idea.
It's crazy, man.
Yeah, and I was reading earlier that it got like really bad in Italy. Our fucking, I guess, proliferation fucking rate is way higher than Italy's now. So yeah.
Yeah,
and that's closer to the epicenter of the issue.
The big thing about
so you got to understand
the big thing
what the fuck is going to be.
That was like the biggest problem area.
Also, the biggest thing about Italy too, and why they took so much drastic action so quickly, is because I saw that Italy is the oldest country in the world. It has the most old people per capita and stuff. Like that. So there's.
I was like, wait, was that the first country?
No.
That can't be right.
Yeah, I guess I said that wrong. But
Pangea.
yeah,
That would
per
be
capita.
Pangea in Italy.
Per capita, their people are the oldest, and because it's at risk,
Really?
people are 50 and older.
Over Japan.
Mm-hmm.
Really?
That's what I heard. I've heard a couple people tell me that. So yeah, and so it's really their death rates are a lot higher over there and stuff like that. Also, we're a larger country, so yeah, but
quite a bit.
Yeah, so, but I think we might have gotten the coronavirus out of the way. We got a solid. That's probably a solid 30 minutes of the coronavirus that we got there. So
yeah, and if you guys have any questions or anything like that, it's not like we can answer. We're not doctors, but if you want us to talk about anything in reference to the coronavirus or like what the coronavirus can affect, the coronavirus, and you guys can put something on the bottom, and we can try to tie some things in and try to figure out what works.
People
for sure.
Shit. Not a doctor, but
well, I am a doctor technically.
Ooh, and an international business.
I am an international businessman. That's not even a joke, people. That if you conduct business in 2 different countries, you're literally an international businessman.
That is correct.
I am that person. I'm one of the few. Don't quote that because there's a ton of people out there like that. But I am a legitimate doctor if it counts that an Indian customer of mine called me doctor in a document. He said Dr. Alex Harmeyer. So now I have like
that's your doctorate right there.
Yeah,
correct.
You have been served with your
I literally
PhD.
Yeah,
Alex Harmeyer.
You guys need to see my desk at work. It literally is a doctor certificate that I printed out online that I have just above my computer.
I feel like that's highly illegal.
I have a stethoscope.
You have a stethoscope.
I have a Lego stethoscope that I made.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
So I'm going all in on it. So I am kind of a doctor, basically, almost. So yeah, if you guys have really any technical questions,
direct them toward
me.
Dr. Harmeyer.
Being dead serious, I've actually done a lot of research on it. There's no decent amount about it. Hit me up, not Harmeyer.
Or is it MD, PhD?
If you hit me up, I will tell you the facts. It's bad. So it might be generic facts, but they will be facts nonetheless. So yeah, if you have any coronavirus stuff, I'm your guy.
Oh God.
Yeah, now you guys know.
Well, as we are kind of fizzling out on this topic, we can jump on a big topic from last time. It is almost like a segment now.
Oof.
It's SmokeWatch.
Ooh, what is it?
Keith
How'd it go?
is trying to stop smoking. If you did not listen to the last episode, it was like a day or 2 into this new experiment. He has tried before in the past, but now we are going to officially keep track of it. Keith?
Yeah, how's it
what's
going?
your update?
Yeah.
Update, I would say overall, because like we recorded it last Saturday. That was 8 days ago?
Yes.
So Saturday, I was smoking like half cigarettes. You guys would agree. Like I slowed down on it a little bit. Maybe a little bit later in the night, I got a little bit more risky with it. But the next day, Sunday, didn't smoke anything at all. And then I kept it down to legitimately 1 cigarette per day until Thursday. And I just had some fuck shit happen, and like I came home and I smoked a lot of cigarettes Thursday and Friday.
God damn it!
And then
But I woke up Saturday and Sunday, and I have only had 1 cigarette in those 2 days. And those are usually my days where even if I am like sober, because that's my issue is drinking when I'm drunk. Even when I'm sober, I usually still smoke a lot on Saturday and Sundays. But I just didn't touch one yesterday. I've smoked 1 today. So
that's big. So you had a light relapse, and now you're back in the game.
Yeah.
Back in it.
That's the problem with quitting cigarettes, man. Like if you have just one day that throws you off just a little bit, all of a sudden you're just back smoking a ton of them, man. That's always been my issue. I've got it down to the point where like I stopped smoking during the week, and like maybe I'm only smoking a half a pack instead of a full pack on the weekends and stuff. And then you just have one day, and it's just like. And never again. You're just back to smoking them full time.
Back to running it full time. Well, I will say, I think it's almost impressive that you did have a really bad day, and then you went back to trying it again.
That's kind of
so. Yeah. I feel like that'd be tough to do. And in terms of other things that we're watching, I also had a light relapse in chapstick.
Oh my God!
No way.
You put chapstick on your fucking lip?
I used chapstick on Wednesday night, just my bottom lip.
Just your
Because I was trying to stay strong. I didn't want to put it on the. It got a little bit chapped.
Yo.
It got a little bit chapped. I put a little, just the littlest bit on,
His
and now
bottom
I'm
lip
good.
is like you're half a cigarette.
Yeah, I think my lips became dependent. they became dependent on chapstick, but chapstick would then end up chapping them a little bit more in the long run. I just had a little bit of extra left over, so I used it one more time.
Chapstick to cigarettes again, and I don't fucking like this.
I mean,
okay.
I am a doctor.
I'm sorry.
These are just habits. These are all habits, people. They're basically the same.
Every day, you face chapped lips every day.
No, not anymore.
Cancer, I should say that.
Not anymore. Not anymore. Okay. Wednesday, I had a little bit of a
So
risk.
both of you guys had a light
So why
relapse.
did you put the chapstick on?
Because
you said
I
you
did.
had
Well,
chapped.
it just got specifically like more chapped than normal, and then I used it one time.
So you would think.
I think
if
I'm just-
chapstick is the issue that he would not.
Yeah, but
put
I'm
the
weaning
chapstick
myself off of it.
Yeah. He got
It's
chapped.
just gonna take a little.
He
bit.
got chapped and he used. When somebody chaps your ass, you use cigarettes.
Yeah. Ooh, that's a good one.
Yeah, see?
Yeah, we're all just people trying to deal with stuff. God, get in my face.
This is some fuck shit.
This is some stupid shit. Yeah.
Funny,
yeah.
but come on, y'all.
Oh boy, I'm sorry. You got that medicated shit that makes you pucker like that?
Well, I don't have that, but
I don't know if I even know what he's talking.
Oh yeah,
about.
they got one that has like a menthol, or one that has like a super strong type of flavoring, and it kind of stings your lips to make them plump. And you go, oh yeah, check it out, Burt's Bees.
I'm done with it. I'm clean.
I'm
clean. I have an emergency one in my nightstand, but I don't want to use it.
He's not using it.
Anyway, so we're not gonna go back to Corona, but we can do a little segment that I was thinking of. Quarantine, like what to watch, because we don't have sports and we don't have anything like that. So something on Netflix and shit that you've been watching or whatever.
Help the guys out at home if they don't know.
Help the people out at home.
We'll start over there, since I know for a fact you don't know
things.
shit about fucking movies. Help them out.
First of all,
Doesn't need to be movies. It can be television shows.
Incredible
Your
ricochet
reality.
shot.
That was a big shot. I'm
My
sorry.
reality show.
Because I wanted to do this last week.
A lot of people, right? And a lot of people do watch this show.
A lot of people.
Love
We're up
is
to 1 million viewers.
Love is Blind. Well, I meant the show that I was talking about. But yeah, sure. There's 1 million people that watch us. But Love is Blind is on Netflix, and I think I might have talked about it a little bit. Yeah, basically people meeting in pods where they can actually see each other's faces, proposing to each other, and then ending up getting married after like 50 days or 40 days or something weird like that. And I finished the first season. I watched the reunion show. There are 3 happy couples that came out of it.
Dude,
that are still married.
We're telling you to help them with what to watch. Don't give them don't spoil the whole fucking show.
Yeah, I don't know why I just did that. That was something else.
Spoil the fuck out of it, dude.
I didn't give names
know what to
though.
watch.
I didn't give names.
It's completely defeated. I'm gonna have to cut that out probably.
Well, no.
Completely defeated the purpose of
It's
this
not
show.
a spoiler because, like, it ends up. What people are going to end up getting married just based fully upon the trailer of the show. But I just don't say any names. It could be literally anybody. There's 50 people that originally started on the show. So
50 couples or 50 people?
50 people.
50 people.
Yeah, I think it's 25 guys, 25 girls. So yeah. So it's not a full-on spoiler. It was a little too much information.
Wait, it's only guys and girls? They don't have any gay couples?
Well, guys and girls.
They had heterosexual, all guys, all girls. This time around, I don't know. For next seasons,
fishy.
I could see them doing different stuff like that.
Seems fishy.
Does it?
Yeah, we have to be culturally diverse now.
Well, maybe their next.
Well, it's
season
one
is
of those
gonna
shows
be
where it's like,
about the different.
yeah, I mean, yeah, they might
pansexuals
have
and-
that might be like a next season where it's just like all people who are gay or all gay guys, all gay girls, or who knows. But
I don't know. Maybe there's going to be a season per sexuality. It's going to be like 327 fucking seasons.
I don't know. But either way,
Per gender. Sorry, not per
it is a
sexuality,
good
per gender.
show.
Sexualities are popping up way faster
I don't
than
know.
we can get those episodes.
I don't know.
this
It is-
season out, man.
it is
like
like
to do sexuality a week now, man.
at its core, it is a very reality type of show. It is a very dumb, like
I
to its
feel
core
like it's
show.
not a reality quality.
but it's
reality
also it's like The Bachelor, and it's
I did say I'd
just
watch it with you. So.
extremely dramatized to be super entertaining, and it is entertaining. It can
easy
get
to watch.
cringy at times, where it's like ooh, when people are getting just destroyed. But yeah, it is a good show. I mean, other shows that I'm watching, I don't know, nothing new that I've like specifically tried.
Yeah, it's just what to watch. You got something that you really like, a show that you really like that might be low key that people.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not a low key shows guy.
If you guys,
I only know
if
the
you guys-
mainstream.
If you guys legitimately need to blow time and want to blow your goddamn mind, Antiques Roadshow. It's been on television
My dad
since
loves
like
that show.
1996 or some shit. Like I don't know exactly, but the mid 90s, I'm guessing. They have the coolest shit. So you have seasons for the past 30 years, damn near. Have fun.
Yeah,
That's all you need.
Is that on Netflix?
No.
I'm not
Antiques Roadshow is that show like when you were a kid and you were flipping through the channels and shit. It was always right by the TV Guide channel, and it's been just like basically selling
PBS.
stuff online.
Okay.
Yeah.
It doesn't sell stuff online.
Isn't that what Antiques Roadshow
No,
is?
you're
Isn't it the one where it has like the call to order thing?
No, that's QVC.
Oh.
You're
Dude,
talking. You're talking
said-
about infomercials.
You have said a lot of things about Antique Roadshows over the year, and I just
don't
now
know
am
what the fuck
figuring
it
out
is.
what it actually is.
Yeah, Antique Roadshow
It's
is
people-
literally
people
people.
bring antiques and they appraise them.
I've seen you
Yes.
watch it before too. I thought it was just that.
They don't sell anything.
Huh?
They
Well,
appraise
They
things.
just all appraising. Okay. Yeah, I'm pretty sure my dad watched.
So
it.
like
That-
if you
that
had
could be a
if you
good
had
show.
like something like a Ken Griffey jersey,
Right.
you know, and he
Signed
signed
or
it
whatever,
and it
yeah.
had the dirt from his last base stolen or something like that, you bring it in, and they'll of course talk about it and give you like the background of the person and of the gear, like this
Right.
and this year Nike actually used nylon, like all those little things
Weird facts
can
Yeah,
like
yeah.
build up to like really ridiculous numbers. And sometimes people come in with something that they think is a Tiffany lamp that's going to be 50 grand, and it's not a Tiffany lamp, and it's 25 bucks. So, I mean, it's always
what a heartbreak.
what's up.
Quit hitting that chord. I can hear a little tick every time you.
I'm sorry, I didn't even know I
you're
was
cool.
hitting it. But yes, yeah. So I mean, it's either or. Like sometimes people go out and buy things for $5,000 thinking it's going to hold its value, and then when they bring it there, it ain't worth shit. And
Yeah.
sometimes people find shit in the trash and it's worth $500,000. So
There are some weird things
Yeah, it's the
worth
fun-
a lot of money. That
yeah,
you
it's
would never
it's a
think
fun
about.
it's a fun thing to watch. You guys should check it out if you're
You got any other like television shows or
television shows.
or movie, just anything?
Watch Sorry for Bothering You. I think it's Sorry
you
for
were telling
Bothering
me
You.
about that one.
That
Okay.
movie is
Was it the comedy documentary thing?
it's a satirical dark comedy. It is intense. It's supposed to be funny, but it's
Yeah, this is the one.
it's a great film. You guys have to check it out. Terry Crews is in it. The cat from Get Out. The dude that's like go like that dude. I don't know what his name is, but you know the one that starts
black
freaking.
dude?
Yeah,
The black dude from Get Out.
no, but not the protagonist. Like
Yeah, but the first
one that
other
was, like,
black guy that you
brain-
end up seeing,
yeah,
and you
like-
can tell he's like in his own
okay.
head.
he's
kind
in
of.
it too. Yeah, it's a really good movie. It's odd. It's artsy, but it's something cool to watch. It'll change your mind about certain things.
Yeah. So, I guess we'll move on to my
Yeah,
picks,
what
I
do
guess.
you got?
So I'm not going to talk about any like super popular shows or anything. Just kind of stuff that I've been watching a little bit recently because I've actually seen some pretty good shows. You guys ever seen The Last Kingdom?
Yeah.
I know you said you've seen the first episode and stuff. I found that to be a really good show. He said he couldn't get into it because it was too much like Vikings. But yeah, it's one of those like medieval Viking shows about.
I think it's pre-medieval times, isn't it?
I'm not really sure exactly what time it takes place on, but it's like Vikings in England, and they have a guy who's a noble, and he was born in England, and he ends up getting put into slavery, air quotes, because he wasn't actually a slave. They just made him his son. And like this, the Danes, the Danish people, like the Vikings around there, and he's raised by them, and then he grow up, and his dad, which again air quotes, gets murdered, and then he starts working with the Englishmen and the Danes, so he's like caught in between two cultures, and he kind of accepts both of them. So it's a really good show. It takes a little bit. The first season's I would just say is good, but once you start getting to the second and third season, that's dope. Also, Castlevania, not gonna lie, not the best story, but some of the best animation I've ever seen when it comes to like anime and shit like that. Well, that's not an anime, but if you're into that type of shit and you like a good like action flick to watch, that's some of the best choreographed fights I've ever seen. Really dope show if you're just trying to get something really cool.
And
to
that's
watch.
an animated show?
It's an animated show.
Okay.
Castlevania, yeah, they make games. It's like vampires, werewolves, and humans, and people fight. They're all fighting each other. Like that.
Yo, I used to love those movies when I was a kid. The Underworld.
Underworld was dope.
I used to love those when I was a kid, and I was never big into like horror films. But I mean, I guess it was more like because it was kind of like
more
action
films,
/ horror thriller type thing. But yeah, I used to love that.
Underworlds were definitely a dope one.
Oh, the other one, and we were just talking about this before we started recording. I mean, Hobbs and Shaw is on Netflix.
Shut up.
You want to talk about some action?
We're not doing this again.
No. Well, no, I'm just telling the people that it's on Netflix. And don't take it serious, because then you're not going to like it. If you don't take it serious, you're going to like it.
I don't even think you need to say that. I think people know not to watch that movie seriously.
Yeah, but the smart people already love Fast and Furious
smart
franchise.
people don't watch that movie,
no,
bro.
The smart people do. There's some clowns that take it too seriously.
If
Gross.
you're not watching
Gross.
on YouTube, he just motioned towards me.
Correct.
Yes. I'm trying to think. I saw another movie actually this morning called Mystic River. I don't know if either of you have seen that. Wildly dark film. Holy moly.
Yeah, with
Check that out. You say dark, I'm
with
there.
Robert De Niro.
No, it's not De Niro. Kevin Bacon is in it.
What isn't
trying to
Kevin
think
Bacon
of-
in?
You sure?
That's true. Well, it's like a small town. I will kind of set up like the scene, and it might be the movie you're talking about. But it's basically like three young kids.
Who's the bad guy?
Who is the bad guy? I don't know. I'm not good with actor names.
Doesn't one guy come out of prison and like is trying to find this fucking guy's Mystic River? It's like
So,
a '90s film, isn't it?
It is in the 90s, I believe. I think it's in the 90s, and it's basically three kids that I think it's like set in Brooklyn, and something happens to one of them when they're super young, and then it flash forwards like 30 years into the future, and it ends up being like one of their kids goes missing. The other friend ends up being the police who's on the case.
Oh, yeah.
And then all three of them
I'm thinking
end up
about
being intertwined
fucking
again.
like Cape Fear or something like that. But no, I know exactly which one you're talking about.
It's an extremely dark film.
It's a
I mean,
dark-
it was good.
it's a good
I
movie,
liked it, but it was like, oh wow, like
Yeah.
the ending. You're like, oh, wow, that's wild.
Yes,
But
you're right.
yeah, I mean, that's the only other movie. I mean, for the most part, I think Netflix actually just added like a lot of movies.
Yeah.
That I've been kind of scrolling
That's
through.
why I watched The Last Kingdom and shit, because they just
Okay.
uploaded the new season. I binged the whole thing, and Castlevania was new too. So
Okay.
Well, you
Yeah.
think
So
about
luckily, we are getting.
you
new
think about
stuff.
fucking exploiting and profiteering. The people that are fucking doing the streaming fucking shit right now are gonna make a
they're
killing.
making it. Bro, not even just the streaming, but like Call of Duty just released their BR, their Battle Royale mode, and like that was the week that they started shutting shit down. Coincidence? I think not. Activision is behind the fucking coronavirus.
Call of Duty. Call of
Everyone's on
Duty
Xbox
is like,
right now.
yep, let's start a
You
pandemic.
think they have those good CIA fucking stories for fucking just because? No,
No.
they're there.
Actually,
These
the
are
stories
insiders.
are based on real life events that happened involving the coronavirus. This was shit that happened months ago to get this all started. It's a fucking conspiracy.
It's a goddamn conspiracy.
It's a conspiracy, but not like everyone is on Xbox right now. Like usually,
yeah.
I got a lot of friends on Xbox because I've been a gamer my whole life. But like, I have like 150 friends on my playlist and on my friends list, and usually there's probably like somewhere 15 to 25 on. There's like 40 or 50 people.
Well,
on
if you
all the time.
think
Yeah,
it's
just people
what is
locked.
the abbreviation for coronavirus?
COVID.
That's an anagram.
The V.
Cod
Take out
virus.
the V and the I.
No, it's the COD virus. It's just an anagram. The words are just put together. It's the Call of Duty virus.
Oh.
You just flip them around. Whoa! Now you guys know. You're welcome.
Might be a real thing.
I'm out. Peace.
or it's Call of Duty 5 and you get COD and then the IV or 4, Call of Duty 4. Yeah, that's what it is. It's just launching their new game is Call of Duty 4 and then the IV is just a number 4 in the middle of
It just so
COD.
happens that Infinity War went back to Modern Warfare, the first Modern Warfare Call of Duty.
Yep.
Call of Duty 4.
Yep. Yep. And
this is not a conspiracy anymore. This
correct.
is fact.
This is a real thing.
This is a real ass thing.
So yeah, there are a lot of people playing video games. I got back into playing video games more than normal. I mean, you just have nothing to do. I got peak boredom yesterday. It was like the first Saturday of our like kind of lockdown, and I was just sitting in my room for like 8 hours.
Like a beverage?
Nope.
No. Okay.
So yeah, yesterday was kind of the peak of boredom, where it's just like the first full Saturday of sitting in doing absolutely nothing except like watching shows, and I just took a 2.5 hour nap in the middle of the day.
Both you and Max have commented on just the boredom and shit like that. I don't have that at all. If I could sit in bed and watch TV or play video games all day, I would.
Really?
I would, and I would never. I would never have an issue with it. It doesn't get boring to me. Like it just. I'd much rather do that than work. Because you were commenting before, you're like, dude, I don't know if I was actually off work, what I would do, because I'd be so bored. Me, if I'm off work, it's just like I'm so happy to be watching.
Oh no, yeah, my attention to those kind of things.
I don't necessarily think that there's anything else much to talk about for this episode.
It's hard to find
because
I mean
there are things to talk about, but if we go too far to the next theme, then everything will kind of be, I don't know, like broken up in a weird way. So we're going to try to give you guys about an hour of roughly the same material, so we're not bouncing around and trying to keep things a little bit more cohesive.
Yeah, and that was one of the pieces of advice that somebody had given us. Somebody had given us saying, like, we jump around from thing to thing too often.
Yeah. And I think we did a pretty good job of staying on it today.
Yeah. Yeah. So let us know. I mean, honestly,
if we didn't do better, tell us that, and we'll try again.
Yeah, just text us and be like, actually, you were an idiot. You didn't do well at all.
Yeah, and also, if you're still tuned in and you're still listening to it at this point, give us some topics that you'd like to hear about. Some more, maybe some more deeper topics, because with coronavirus happening right now, pop culture is kind of
shut down.
Yeah, it's kind of shut down. There's no sports. We could talk about movies and stuff. We might make that a little segment that we have too, just like shit to watch that we've watched.
Yeah, we can. That can be a thing. We can just and give us your thoughts on what to watch, so we can give it to the world too.
Yeah, but if there's anything that you would like just to hear us comment on, something like really deep, it could be something like really chipper or really fucked up, but we're prepared to comment on it. So.
Especially me. If you guys want to talk about something deep, it's kind of like one of my fortes. This is Max. If you guys are just listening. It's one of my fortes. I like to look at things a little bit. I guess I overanalyze at times. So if we want to go like super deep and we want like a really good fucking conversation, give us something that you want me to talk about, and I will, along with these guys, give you the best and the deepest thing that we can.
Cool. We'll give it to you deep and hard.
Oh,